What is going on, guys? It is your boy Cash, and I am finally back with some KC videos. I know it's been like 18,000 bajillion years, but I have to let you guys know. Oh, wait, this is a little center that a little bit. Oh, no, don't show there we go. We got to get back in the mix. So, of course, you see the boy to the left, you see the name to the right, you see this thing that's not really in the middle, but it's like kind of close enough to the middle, you know what I'm talking about. But we are here to talk about Offenbach. And I have a surprise for you guys. And the surprise is that I have not seen his level 3. So we shall enjoy that in a few moments. One thing I do want to know is that these are a lot of kids where's the mommy and daddy? Anyway, this is the boy Offenbach. Let's look at him in his youngest of days. As you can see, he's the weirdest of them all. All of them kind of look human. You know, well, they all look human, to be fair, but he has like the most like weird, like he's the most failed experiment. Now I probably could read this and figure that out, why that happened, but we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna keep looking at him style himself out. Okay, got the little, I think, oh, and then it gets longer, right? Not, you know, so like the little armaments things come in and then, you know, puts more on the swag in the middle. I respect it. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty tight. Now, specifically, I've been hearing that this character is not been well received. Not been well received. So let's see how I think about him and if I can convince you. Can I convince you guys different? Let's see. So let's first start off with the leader skill. And it's going to be Hidden Blade. 20% chance to apply strike preparation for 1 turn when an ally is attacked. Now obviously that's pretty cool, but 20% is pretty low. It is pretty low. Too low for me to warrant that as a leader when there's so many better guaranteed things that we can go for. So obviously not really going to be using him as a leader. First passive skill is going to be Brutal Domination. 100% chance to apply crystal daggers to 3 enemies for 2 turns at the start of the battle. 80% chance to increase the debuff duration of enemies affected by crystal daggers by 1 turn at the start of the caster's turn. So he needs to get a turn in order for that to trigger. Keep that in mind. Increases the caster's evasion by 25% for 2 turns when the caster applies crystal daggers. Max 3 stacks, aka 75% chance to evade, which is really good. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we had the other Ashley, which was Astaroth, right? He was another version of Ashley, and we have another version of Ashley, a little bit, you know, Jabanyan, I guess, in there. And he had the evasion. Let me know in the comment section below if you want me to go into the arena with an all evasion team, all characters that have a way to evade. It would be absolutely stupid, and I know you want to see it. You just got to comment and like the video. I know you want it. I know you want it. Just take it. Just take it. What? All right. So, so what's really cool about this is that as long as he gets out the crystal daggers, so he starts off the match with the crystal daggers, and he's gonna get a couple stacks, right? You know, which is awesome. Great. Crystal daggers are one of the better debuffs in the game. It's not locked down to a damage over time, and it's not locked down to abnormal status. So crystal daggers is one that you can put on literally anything as long as it can receive a debuff. Only thing I know that doesn't receive a debuff, if I'm not mistaken, is something along the lines of like Sid when he's in his first form, in the 3rd stage in his first form, he can't be hit by any debuffs, and they usually tell you. So what's cool about this is, which I really wanted to try for you guys and I wasn't able to because of work and I didn't know that it was up, but Ariandel. You guys understand how the boss will put mental seal on you and things of that nature. If you guys pay attention here, oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go over to the next one. Crystalline Grace becomes immune to looming death. That's not what we're talking about, obviously, but increases caster's damage dealt by 80% if the enemy is affected by crystal daggers. This is what I was talking about. 100% chance for allies to resist abnormal statuses inflicted by an enemy affected by crystal daggers. Now for this is what kind of like was really cool to me. This effect only applies when Offenbach is alive. 20% chance to activate against monsters. Now I don't know if bosses are considered monsters. I don't know how they really break that down. Monsters is an actual group in the actual game. I can show you guys. See, monsters. So they're legitimately a group in the game. And I don't think it counts for any like hero or anything like that. So theoretically, I have to say this because I can't really test it out. It'd be really hard to test. Theoretically, with this passive here, if you were to crystal dagger a boss that stuns you or taunts you or anything like that, most importantly, like stuff like weakens you, you should be able to resist it with crystal daggers. That alone, in my opinion, makes Offenbach actually pretty good. If you guys have any like examples of that, feel free to leave that in the comments section below as well. But that's actually what I really like about him, is that when he, especially if it's a 1v1 and if he has at least counter, he kind of needs counter to be honest with you, but he has a cool way of making sure your allies don't get stunned as long as the crystal daggers are on the right people with this 60 passive. So with that alone, he does bring in something different to the game. He's not just, you know, Ashley water hybrid, you know. I mean, he kind of is, but you know, he's done it a different way. But this also is really, really important. This allows you, and even if it doesn't work on bosses, let's just take that out of the factor completely. It at least works in arena. It's at least gonna work in arena. So those characters that are taunting, the characters that are weakening like Elizabeth, any character that is also that does anti-revive, any character that does disable resolve. Sorry, I can't speak the Inglando, but any of those won't work as long as they have crystal daggers. It actually is makes your team way more safe. And I think that is actually really, really cool about him, and I think that's what I think a lot of people are slightly overlooking in this guy's kit that makes him a lot better or a little bit more interesting than other characters. Now let's go over to the active skills. Dominant Throw inflicts penetration damage equal to 1 target and has a 60% chance to apply daggers for 2 turns, inflicts more damage if there is a debuff. This is a really good skill here. As you can see, as we level it up, no funny things happen, but it just, the chance to land the daggers goes up. It does more damage if they have debuffs, which is supposed to be the crystal daggers. Also, as we know, as we're attacking someone, you know, we're supposed to be extending their debuff. So pretty much, you're definitely going to want to level this one up first, in my personal opinion. This shouldn't be a surprise to you, but I think multi-striking and counter is going to be really good for him. I always view counter higher because there's more people attacking than you attacking. So I always think counter is always the better option, but this is really good. Penetration, so it doesn't matter if they have a shield, and the more, you know, 2 turns here, which is, it's always 2 turns, sorry, but does more damage, which is nice, and he gets the 80% boost here as long as they have crystal daggers. That's your whole shtick. If you don't have crystal daggers on every single enemy or the most important ones, then there's no point in bringing this guy in. Now let's look at the S2. Crystal Downpour inflicts penetration damage in a cone, as we know. 80% chance to decrease the target speed. This is really good. Let me not pretend like this isn't great. And all you need to do is get to level 3, and then it's 100% to decrease. And then after this, you're just leveling up the damage. So if you wanted to, yes, you can get this to level 3, make sure that happens. But in my opinion, 80% is pretty good. You don't really need to do that. And boom, 90 if you even spend 1 on it. That's pretty much going to happen most of the time. So I don't think you need to waste any skill ups on that. I feel like this one will probably be the last one, because boom, 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 we have 1,000 cuts. Inflicts damage to 1 target, and for that 1 target, you get to disable resolve, and you also get a chance to put crystal daggers. Now let's just keep in mind that it's 60% here, and it's also 60% here. Again, you're gonna be S-ing. You always S1 more than you S3. That's just how usually the game works, unless you're like Ruby or some character like Jibanyan that's gonna have a way to, you know, manipulate that in some way in your favor. So with that being said, even though this thing gets, you know, more consistent, and look, in their defense, it looks glamorous, right? So you can S3 them in the beginning of the fight. His goal, his whole stick is that he's gonna be multi-strike. That's why I'm surprised he doesn't have a counter or multi-strike on the leader skill. So that is what I'm telling you guys to do. I'm thinking when you have this character, you kind of want him on counter. You want to make sure that you keep up your evasion at least to the max of 3 stacks and constantly have it on 2 turns. You will dodge a lot of attacks and you will hit back, constantly putting crystal daggers on characters. And then if this is leveled up, you know, you'll do some good damage with the S1 second part here, and also the 60 passive making you do more damage. You can't be looming death, which who cares, but also, the more crystal daggers that you're spreading around, you will save your team from getting anti-revive. I think that is like probably the most important thing if we're talking about PvP. You don't get anti-revived or any weird thing that's going to really screw up your team as long as they have a crystal dagger. So if this first passive triggers on certain enemies that are really pivotal, you're going to be in a really good spot to the point where they can't either kill you, and then if you have Savaria or any of these Karen, you know, all these characters with the revives, you are super safe with that. And I think, like I said, I think people are a little bit underbidding what this guy is able to do. So with that being said, let's go over to his stats and his runes and all that good stuff. And I'm going to show his things at the end so you guys get that raw diggity reaction to that. So these are his base stats, just to show it off a little bit. Every single hybrid of the SSR category will be the same stats. I'll show that on the left side. I'm not going to go over that, but the difference is going to be the attack speed. So as we can see here, plus 10, if we minus 10, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can do that math. It's going to be 578, which means he is relatively fast. He kind of needs to be, because you need to be able to get those turns so you can keep applying the crystal daggers and keep them on characters. And obviously if you want that on a certain specific character, so to disable them would be great. You don't really have to focus on being a DPS unit, but he's kind of like Aurora. He has a nice little utility in his kit. He's not like Kali. He's not like Kali, who's really like DPS kind of oriented. He has a lot of utility into him, but he can do some damage if you need him to. So when it comes out to runes, you can check out. Just kidding. You guys know I don't rune characters until I'm done with them. So he actually is done. I could actually give him a rune set. So what would I put on this bad boy? I got a lot of suggestions for you. First suggestion, like I said, revenge. I would definitely, if not, will be going like triple revenge, anything to get his counter up, just because, like I said, he's going to be evading a lot, and you want him that if everyone's swinging on him, you know, you want him to counter hit back, crystal daggers them so they can't taunt, they can't put any oogie boogies on you. They can put some damage over times, but those aren't gonna be as game breaking. Even like I said, one of the biggest issues in Arena right now is Elizabeth. You know, she's such an annoying piece of shit. But, you know, she won't be able to put like the weekends on you. Actually, I don't necessarily know if it works on Elizabeth, but let's just say it does. For argument's sake, because I can't get mine to live every 2 seconds past, you know, the round start, because he has no runes. If it doesn't work on Elizabeth because of the weekend, technically I understand that it doesn't, but at least another character cannot put any stuns on you. They can't put anything that's regarded as an abnormal status. And even if they did, let's say you got the weekend on you, guess what? You have 75% chance to evade, which is awesome as long as you keep putting those crystal daggers on. And it's 2 turns evasion too. If you want to be cheeky, you can do Rune of Taunt as well. I think that's not that bad. Anytime a character has evasion or has the ability to stall the enemy, I think Taunt is what you want to use. That's why tanks use it, but it's also good on evasion based characters because you can literally use it to bait the enemy into doing stupid stuff. That's why Kayn is good with Taunt as well. You want to go DPS oriented, you can still go Rage. Don't be afraid to just unleash the rage within you. Agility, I mean, he does have and that's pretty much all I see that I would personally like to recommend. You could actually make him tanky, maybe give him some life set. He is a hybrid, so he could have decently tanky stats. If you want to give him life or protection, make him a little bit tankier. Still with counter. Counter's the main stat he needs, in my opinion. Attack, counter, HP is what I'll probably be bringing into the table. So that's just how I suggest. Let me know what builds you guys are going. Next up, the lovely hero talents. So as you guys will be able to tell from this, crit chance, crit damage, or the ability to hide. Now the hide ability is not that bad, but I feel like it's slightly wasted because you don't necessarily need to S3 in the beginning of the fight, because the chances for you to land a crystal dagger is the same. If you're S3ing in the beginning of the fight, it's usually so you can disable resolve something and possibly land the crystal dagger. So for me, I'll probably be going with Plant Attack just to give him that ability to slightly have a higher chance to crit something. He doesn't have auto crit, so he can't go crit damage. Next up, I'll definitely probably go with Weapon Mastery. Increase his damage for pretty much for free. Not going to go with here because you're not using your S2 as often. You use it when it's up, but this is for people that have like some type of reset in their S2. Next up, 54. Of course, we're going to go with either where you're going to be using them. Again, I'm not going for this, though it's not that bad. Shock is a really good damage over time. Remember, if it gets removed, it stuns the other person that removed it, so it's actually really good. It's not that bad, and since we're going counter multi, it's not that bad. I actually would think Nerve Strike or lowering the damage, but actually I'll probably take that back just because if we're going evasion, commit to it. So maybe we'll go with the Nerve Strike. Next up is going to be 56, and I'll probably do the same thing here, right? You get some crit chance when you get attacked, and if you evade, it's going to be pretty good. So let's commit to the evasion scheme, right? Commit to the BS. And then last but not least, well, not last, but 58, we're going to be going with increased damage here. You can also use this to lower your cooldowns, but his S2 and S3, in my opinion, aren't that great to write home about. But so I rather would just go with this wherever you plan on using him, and that will probably be the end of it. Next up is going to be 60, which is obviously duh. Look at that, look at that. Now as you can see here, this is a really cool thing to note, is that He has +3. Why? Because he, in the beginning of the fight, he put on 3 crystal daggers. It literally gives you a stack for each one that you put on, which is really good to note. So you literally can start off the fight with 75% evasion right off the bat, you know? So boom, that's the S1. Boom. And I actually want them to do, and as you can see, I got a turn and it extended the debuffs because that's how it works. So that's why I said making him decently fast, even though speed is pretty atrocious in this game, but you definitely don't want to like have him go last. You want him to go first. So if there's any oogie boogies, like let's say if you have him compared with Cynthia or any other character, you know, that puts on debuffs on the beginning of the fight, you want him to go and extend those, you know, as far as he can, as long as he can, you know. That's what's really good about it. We're gonna do the S2. Love that animation. It looks pretty clean. As you can see, we're still dodging. Now I need to land a crystal dagger here in order to extend it even further. So let's see if I get the crystal dagger. Boom, 2 turns and we're still dodging. Ah, as you can see, so now you can tell that this is a monster. We know this is a monster, right? Because I got stunned. Freeze is obviously a abnormal status, so it's only 20% versus him. It's not 100%, so I should technically never get frozen by a monster, but I still did, as you can see here. And because he's the leader, I actually got in strike preparation for it, and I can't even use it. Another cool thing that I wanted to note here is you can actually see the crystal daggers floating around them. It's a really cool effect. And we're just gonna end the turn. All right, so here we go. We finally get to see, well, you guys probably have already seen it, but I have never seen it in level 3. So let us enjoy this magical animation. It better look cool. I bigged this guy up for no reason, so it better look cool. Okay, okay, put him in the ice mountain. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that's clean. That's actually pretty clean. That is actually really clean. Okay. Okay, he has my respect. And that's gonna be it for the boy. Really think he's a good character. I think people are maybe sleeping on him and not really wanting to utilize him. I know sometimes when a character is not as obviously strong, it usually takes a little bit more explaining to get, you know, get that next level out of him. But I think he's really good. I think that if you get the crystal daggers on the right targets, it will allow your team to sustain longer. I think he's more for a annoying revivey kind of team. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and I know I owe you Rebecca video. I know I owe you Karen video. You guys understand that my computer has been literally down and out for about 2 weeks. I got it back working and then it crapped out on me again. So now we are finally back, bought a new hard drive, and it's all thanks to you guys and the support. So I will see you guys in the next video, 1 of the 2. There goes another thing you could tell me. Tell me that. Tell me what do you want, Rebecca or you want Karen? Because I didn't do either, I'm pretty sure. But that's what you got to tell me. And one thing I got to tell you is that every day at the Kashino is your lucky day. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.